Coming up on this episode of the Village Idiom.
You could just refer to them as the Red Room, the Green Room, the Blue Room.
I can't hear the word Red Room without thinking of like
red rum.
Yeah, it just goes Red Rum. I'm waiting for twins to come out and blood out of an elevator.
Village Idiom.
Hello and welcome to the Village Idiom.
We are a podcast.
That's all, folks.
And every week we choose a popular saying to take a admittedly shallow, hopefully comedic, once in a while interesting, if we're lucky, educational, dive into its meaning, its usage, its origins. But we're also really what we're here for is to choose that idiom to hang our otherwise directionless conversation on. Imagine if we didn't have idioms.
We would just directionlessly talk without direction.
I wonder if we'd have more or less listeners. Anyway, my name is Jurassic Mark. To my side,
I'm Skinny. It's throwing me off. I must have forgotten my glasses here last week.
Yeah, now you got two.
Because I was like,
so now you can put some on and then hold these out here and create like a telescopic.
Well, I wouldn't want to set my retinas on fire. I'll try not to look in the sun.
I was going to call you because I had a shipment accidentally delivered to your office. I was going to tell you to bring it today. You didn't happen to bring it, did you?
I did not.
All right.
What were you shipping?
It was a T-shirt that I did online, but I no longer work at your office, and it must have saved that address at some point.
Bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. No, I would have brought it. But another time. It's tricky when you're getting prepped for things.
It's probably a conversation we didn't need to have on the air here.
No, that's fine. That's like the whole thing. It's basically a whole conversation we don't need to have.
It's something you probably should have had backstage.
It is. It's good to have
microphones.
Things. It's good to have a space like the office. It's like it's not your direct main thing. It's just like a prep area for you.
Somewhere to just be.
Backstage, the Green Room.
The Green Room.
The Green Room.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about today. It doesn't seem like an idiom. It seems like a noun, which I guess it is, but
or two,
but it
one
is
with an adjective.
It is in fact an idiom, so to speak,
really,
because it doesn't mean what it means. I mean, it doesn't mean what it sounds like.
Like that it's a room that's green?
That it's a room that's green.
Well, it could be.
It could be.
But it doesn't have to be.
A green room could be green.
A green room.
A green room is what to you?
Well, in general, it's like where
it's not really backstage.
Entertainers kind of like a holding tank for the entertainers before they go on the main stage.
That's where the red M&Ms and the moist towelettes are, whatever else is in your rider. Wheatgrass juice.
Well, it turns out that there's multiple color rooms. I didn't know which you knew and which you didn't know, so I thought I'd at least have a couple on hand to fire out at you.
If you're just going to say there's...
Well, you could have a blue room.
I'm aware.
An orange. Hey, red. Whatever.
We used to run I used to run kids programs, and every sort of classroom was painted a different color so that we could just refer to them as the Red Room, the Green Room, the Blue Room.
I can't hear the word Red Room without thinking of like
red rum.
Yeah, it just goes Red Rum. I'm waiting for twins to come out and blood out of an elevator. The Shining kind of.
Is that from The Shining?
Yeah, Red Rum. Red Rum. It's like because it's murder backwards.
Yeah.
But Red Room. So of course, in preparation for Green Room, there's different colors of rooms.
All right, tell me what you got.
And not just because you painted them that way. A red room. Have you heard of this? A red room. It was a little bit not good. The Red Room. Okay, so it was.
It was a little bit
the Red Room.
Not good.
It's
you should be a commentator.
Live streaming. It's a live stream on the dark web, where web criminals kidnap and kill people on camera.
Are you being serious right now?
Yes, Red Room. It was a dark web term.
So it was like a series that you would binge through?
I haven't seen it, but it was just called the Red Room.
Because of because of how red it got.
I guess, because I have heard that there is such a thing as but they're fake. But I don't know if on dark web, I didn't even really know what the dark web is, because the regular web is its own darkness.
It's dark enough.
How dark can this go?
I mean, I've heard of dark web related things. I didn't know there was something with enough clout that I would recognize Red Room. Yeah.
Red Room. Yeah, apparently a place to they're videotaping off people. I just think that's terrible outside of general
Do you?
Well, I just want to get it on the record that I don't support murder.
No, okay.
True.
Me too.
Yeah, I think it's a safe, it's controversial.
I guess, is that why they call it Red Room? Is it a play on Red Rum?
Of course, that makes great sense.
It must be.
It's got to be.
Not to mention that the room would be red after whatever nonsense they do in there.
Sure, unless, yeah. If you exsanguinate a body, it wouldn't be.
That's a word above my knowledge.
Okay, here we go.
Is that going to be in riddling exsanguinate?
No. Okay,
Sanguinate.
a black room. A black room.
Like a dark room for photography?
A dark room. No, this is a black room, but that's... It wasn't a dark room.
Black room. I can't think of what a black room would be.
Okay, in the vein of like counterintelligence, a communication
Like
center.
Black Ops?
Yeah, used by state officials to conduct clandestine interception and surveillance of communication. A black room. Sometimes they said it would be like in the back of the post office or some like federal type. A black room.
I'm just, I think, uncomfortable with the use of black room and clandestine.
It's a little too KKK.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it means that. I think the room, because you talk about.
So it's Black Ops. It's secretive.
Ops.
Secretive.
Secretive.
Okay.
Yeah. So a secretive place to steal
And is that a
communications.
common one? Like black room would be multi-governments would use that term?
It was in relation to government or state sponsored surveillance of communication.
Okay.
Okay, I got two more for you. They get a little easier.
Brown room. I got one.
Blue room.
That gets easier?
Yeah.
Is this the dressing room at a swimming pool?
Almost.
Really?
Almost. It's one of the rooms in the White House. The blue room.
How's that almost?
It's in the vein. There's probably a pool at the White House. We just don't know about it.
Okay, fair enough. Blue room. Blue lagoon. Blue room.
The blue room. Okay, and the final one,
Yeah.
which I think you can get.
Let me. It's gonna be the
The white room. The white room. Excuse me. Sorry, it's
with white curtains.
You know the song by
In the
Cream?
white
That's the song by Cream. That's not what it's about.
With white curtains.
Pete Brown.
Okay.
It's Pete Brown and Cream. Okay. The white
Well,
room.
Pete Brown wouldn't have
Okay,
a white room.
The white room.
I don't know. It's got to be some sort
It's
of
a level past. How about this? It's a level past clean room.
That's what I was going to say. It has to be something to do with hospitals or surgery.
Okay, so the white room is related to environments used for precision mechanics or medical devices. Something the step past a clean room for preparation, a completely non-polluted environment.
Yeah. Okay. So that's why I had medical hospitalized kind of situation. So I wasn't too far off.
This stupid thing is still
Your cough?
It's ridiculous.
You need a white room.
My lungs
And if
need
the
air.
white room doesn't fix you, we'll take you to the red room. I wonder if anybody has been, well, forget the red room. Let's ignore that altogether. But if anybody has been in a green room, a black room, a white room, for any reason.
I looked up others, like what is a like yellow room and orange room. There's nothing
No.
that was of substance outside of like if you paint your room orange, that means that you like.
Well, I did find a clip of Jackie O. There was just this sort of montage of her introducing rooms in the White House back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And one was just, and this is the green room, which is obviously not a backstage area. It was just what they, so I don't know if it's officially.
This is the red Cadillac.
Yeah.
Where's this from, Jackie?
I don't know if it's officially the White House refers to it as because there's the Lincoln room and the whatever room and the Oval Office. But she's like, it was like a series, and one was just the green room, because I was trying to find clips of people using the phrase green room, and that was one. I'm like, wow, it's not idiomatic. It's just her calling a room green.
There is a fantastic series for people who enjoy stand-up. Paul Provenza and The Green Room.
I do not know that name.
The Green Room with Paul. It's called The Green Room with Paul Provenza.
Oh, I stumbled across it during this research, but I didn't watch any of it.
Yeah, I think I've
'Cause
seen
I saw Bo
Burnham.
Bo Burnham came up a couple times. On
Yeah,
that.
he's of course fantastic. But yeah, it covers through all sorts of, like Mark Maron was on that, Paul Mooney. The guy who does remember in the Man in the Moon series, the kind of the alter ego.
Oh, Tony.
Yes.
Like, oh man. So Jim Carrey is playing.
Yes, that person. Yes, I don't know if it's what's his name?
Why can't I just think of the main star, Andy Kaufman?
Yes.
Jim Carrey playing Andy Kaufman. Andy Kaufman playing Tony. something.
Hinchcliffe? No.
Tony Clifton. Tony Clifton.
So so it has this wide range of stand-up people talking about discussing comedy and the finer works of like.
And Tony Clifton was one of the guests.
So he was he's dead. Andy Kaufman is dead.
Yeah, but have you watched the documentary about Jim Carrey being Andy Kaufman?
No.
And he was Tony Clifton in places. And so Andy Kaufman used this alter ego so that his buddy, who's featured in this documentary, Andy Kaufman's real life buddy, could appear as Andy Kaufman being Tony Clifton.
This is
so that
awesome.
Andy Kaufman wouldn't actually have to be there.
Okay, so he shows up. I don't know if it's the real one or not. But
Jim Carrey, during the filming, was invited to the Playboy Mansion, and he sent Andy Kaufman's still alive real life buddy as Tony Clifton to the Playboy Mansion. And was welcomed in.
Because they thought it was Andy Kaufman.
They thought it was Jim Carrey pretending to be Andy Kaufman, pretending to be Tony Clifton. But it wasn't. It was Andy Kaufman's real life buddy pretending to be Tony Clifton. And then, after a couple of hours of partying with Hugh Hefner, Jim Carrey in no costume shows up.
This is amazing.
And security escorts Tony Clifton off the property. And so, but that's the kind of stuff that Andy Kaufman and his friend would have done back then.
Just to mess around.
So it's quite possible that without any explanation or revealing that Tony Clifton you saw was Jim Carrey. Because that's the kind of stuff he was doing.
Oh, wow. I never thought of that possibility.
Yeah, it's actually likely.
Wow.
Right?
Because to me, without like untrained eye, it looks like the character.
Yeah.
Well, wow.
So I don't know.
So it's the Green Room with Paul Provenza.
All right.
Was it Ray Romano?
Everybody. It was a list. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So if you're a stand-up connoisseur, it had all sorts of just like that. What's the other guy? Doug Stanhope.
Yep.
Like so, not like mainstream, but yeah. Anyways, it was good. Yeah, very good. The Green Room with Paul Provenza.
The Green Room. Yeah.
Not sponsored.
No. But they're welcome to mention us as well. Just a gentleman's handshake. We'll mention you. You mention us.
Fair enough.
I'm sure it'll happen.
Yeah. So that's what's.
Speaking of that, we did also not sponsored or anything, but Beetlebat, who's been helping out with some of our riddle links throughout the summer, has provided riddle links for me for today's idiom. So Green Room, my contribution of riddle links are actually sponsored by Beetlebat.
I love it.
And on that note, Beetlebat has now got his own podcast with his brother Tybat and Beetlebat.
Oh, so good. What is it? Give him a shout out.
So it's you can go check out Soupbox. Kind of like Soapbox, and it's mostly you got to be interested in pop culture and video games, but they kind of have directionless conversation of their own. It's very enjoyable, worth listening to. So Soapbox is our unofficial sponsor today.
That's great. Yeah, easy to give those guys a shout out,
especially when they're giving me my riddling puzzles, and I don't have to come up with anything creative.
Feeding you half the gig, then,
right? Soapbox. Anyway, so I was about to say Soupbox is the idiom today, which is not true. Today
Green
is
Room.
Green Room.
Well, I'm actually very curious that this actually has an origin.
Yeah. What are I was trying to, when I was doing my own riddle links, which ended up not happening, I was trying to think of types of green. So, like, I could rattle off royal blue, navy blue, blah, blah, blah. Can you think of greens? I got Hunter and Kelly.
Bob. Addie.
Red, green.
Okay. Aqua is a blue, right?
Yeah.
Forest.
Oh, forest green. There you go. Lime.
Light
green. Okay.
Dark.
Forget it.
I said some words. Where'd they go? Where'd they go? No one can know. I turned around and looked behind. Those words came from another mind. Origin.
I use army green.
Army green.
But I don't know if that's officially a green. I just say that's kind of an army green. Mm-hmm. I'm wearing army green. I put on a green shirt. Just Olive green. That always confused me because doesn't the Bible say that Jesus was olive-skinned?
Do you think he was green? Like
I'm
the Hulk?
wondering. Yeah. I mean,
he's strong.
When he got angry, anyway. When he was angry, he was olive skin. All right.
I don't know that it actually says he was olive skinned, does it?
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah. In reference to his coloring. But that is a...
Because I think I've told him, Middle Eastern.
Middle Eastern. That is what they call it, even today, is olive skin color. But is it a Kalamata?
I
have two types of olives
in
my house. One has a pimento in the middle, and one is very black. And I just can't picture Jesus either way.
Having a pimento middle?
Having a pimento.
He's just going for a swim in the Sea of Galilee with a big
it's
red.
The Old and New Testament.
What's that in your belly button?
Piment.
Lord, I have a question. What's the big red thing in your belly button?
I will not believe until I see the pimento of his midriff.
He's walking
Doubting
around.
Thomas.
That's so ridiculous.
Fine, here's my pimento. Okay, ridiculous and sacrilegious. All right, so you remember, wow, it was weeks ago now where I was just so satisfied with the exact date, time, and names.
I think it was 3 weeks ago.
Was it 3?
I think so.
Of now I can't remember what the idiom was. Couch potato.
Yep.
And it was just so succinct. This has
not
every imaginable. Like if you were to sit here and go, I bet the Green Room is called the Green Room because of fill in the blank. If you came up with something, it's out there already. So I'm just gonna, rather than I couldn't play a game, like pick the right one because they could all be wrong.
I have some guesses.
Give some guesses.
Something to do with entertainment in England, and the room was actually green.
You're just like picking the place just for fun?
1700s.
Okay, so I'm just going to go through these in no particular order. I couldn't find one that kind of rose to the top as being the most likely. Couldn't even find that. So here's one. It comes from Stratford, a school where they put on plays. The room next to the stage. This is just one. I mean, it had to be England. Just Shakespeare and plays.
That's amazing.
The room next to the stage where the actors got changed and where the council met was called the agreeing room. And just as people slurred their words, if you had a Warwickshire accent, it would sound a lot like Green Room, and that was where Green Room. So agreeing room to Green Room to Green Room. That's one. Another one of the oldest stories is that London's Blackfriars Theatre in 1599, predates your guess, included a room behind the scenes where the actors waited to go on stage.
I nailed the first one.
Really.
That's amazing.
What happened to be painted green and was called the Green. So called the Green, not the Green Room, but it's like, you can wait in the green.
Wait in the green.
So, but you also got that it was painted green, potentially. Later renovation of London's Cockpit and Court Theatre in 1662, getting closer to your era, included a green baize. Do you know that word? B-A-I-Z-E. Dressing room, which is a fabric, if I'm not mistaken, which was also being suggested as just this green baize fabric, which I think was a sound absorber. And also they say that the room in its entirety was painted green, which was meant to relieve the eyes from the glare of the stage and the way they did lighting back then.
Okay.
But that one's argued because in that era, the lighting on the stage
candles
would have been candles. Right. So the glare
oil lamp
wouldn't have really been there. How about this one? Richard Southern, in his studies of medieval theater in the round, so this guy put a little effort into it, states that in this period, the acting area was referred to as the Green, similar to the other one. The central space was often grass covered and was used by the actors, while the surrounding space and circular banks were occupied by the spectators. So Southern states that the Green has been a traditional actor's term for the stage ever since. So even to this day, in certain pockets, they refer to the stage as the Green. So it was a stage reference. It is possible, here's another one, it is possible that Green Room might be a corruption of Scene Room, where the room where scenery was stored, like the set props and whatever, which doubled as the actors' waiting and warm-up room, blah, blah, blah. Many actors, this was jumping onto a new one, many actors would be anxious and suffer from anxiety before the performance, and of course nervousness can cause nausea, and people refer to people as being nauseous as they're turning green. So it could be that's the place to look and feel green. Mm-hmm. Here's another one. Comedian and dancer Max Wall attributes the phrase to, this is my favorite, explanation, to Cockney rhyming slang, which we've talked about a few times as we've done idioms, where stage got turned into green gauge. So there's a combination of the green and stage, and they called it green gauge. So the Cockney rhyming slang, okay, head out onto green gauge. Therefore, green gauge room, which was stage room, and just got shortened over time to green room. So rhyming slang goes back to the 1840s. So that makes it a little harder to believe because green room predates that. But and then just for fun, this has nothing to do with the origins of green room, but the first specific reference to a green room in theatrical context is to be found in A True Widow. This is still about the green room. I had one more thing I want to add to it. A play written by Thomas Shadwell in 1678, and one of the characters, Stanmore, declares this: "Selfish this evening in a green room, behind the scenes was beforehand with me." And a few years later, in 1697, in The Female Wit, a play written with no attribution, the character of Praisall tells the assemblance troupe of actresses, "I'll treat you all in the green room with chocolate." So it goes way back that it was this side room is called the green room. No, this is the interesting part that I meant to talk about.
So, you know that like in corporate-y type cultures, everything is just kind of goofy and stupid. Like it's like, why do we call, like we've had where it's like rooms that are called something that are no longer even used for that anymore. But that it's like the blue room. The room's not even blue. It hasn't been blue for a decade. It was literally Norm's room.
Right.
Where it's like that guy passed on like a decade ago. Right. Like literally
and
died.
It wasn't commemoratively plaqued up.
It was
now
we have space in between the buildings that we called Norm's room because he just put his crap in there.
Yeah.
And so I'm lean so harshly to there being a room that was green,
and it just stuck.
It's just like, yeah, whatever theater, whatever. Even if it was some preeminent theater, it's like, yeah, just head to the green room. It's like it could have been probably started off green and then maybe changed, but it's just the green room.
Yeah,
that makes like the most sense to me.
Well, that's why I had to just rattle off all of them because there was none that stood out. There's none that, you know, usually if you bounce around to enough
Norm's room,
if you bounce around to enough,
because he's passed on, do you think he'd be pleased or like sad that what was memorialized after him? It's not like the Martin Luther King Highway or something.
I mean, let's put it this way: I worked in the same building you're referring to, and I no longer work there. And if something was constantly referred to as Mark's room, I'd love it.
Would you, if it was like that dank space in between two buildings?
Well, it's not like we chose the worst room to name after Norm. That was his room. His name is in there, written on the wall.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
It was on like a coat hanger thing.
There was a
coat rack. It said Norm. Big blue letters.
One of my friends, she was a senior lady, and she had a little fall down the steps, and the place where she splatted on the bottom and bonked herself, we called Meemaw's Landing. You remember that?
Too. And it was a landing in a stairway.
It was an actual stair landing.
Yeah.
But yes, we called it down to Meemaw's Landing.
Yeah.
It's like, and so I'm like, that's kind of like acceptable. That's Meemaw's Landing. Or is it just like,
It's acceptable outside of the earshot of people who loved her.
I loved her. You loved her.
I did. You're right.
And
anyway, I didn't callously use it in front of her family.
Well, knowing her family, they would also laugh hilariously.
They would. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, just for fun, before we move on.
So the green room. I'm going with the one that says primarily
it was green.
A room that was green off the stage. The green room.
In Shakespeare's day, the actors waited in what was called a tiring house. And so they figure that, which would be the equivalent in Shakespeare's day as a green room. Mm-hmm. They called it the tiring house. And they're pretty sure that it was called that because that is where they changed or put on the attire for the play. And it was just like, you know, those funny actors like, I'm going to go put on my attire. Oh, I'm going to the tiring room. I'm going to the tiring house to get costumed up.
I'll just make one up. Okay, so back in the day, theater was often done outdoors in Greek theater, and so the little area that had vines on the outside, which were also green, it was like, go and get yourself changed there, which we affectionately call the green room because it's covered in ivy. And so it's like...
So this is my guess. So I think there's validity in saying that somewhere along the line, they just were painted green. This is where I think there's enough actual evidence that the stage itself, even in Shakespeare's days, that the stage was called the Green. And so this was a room behind the stage. And so the stage wasn't the stage room. This was the stage room. And since the stage was called the Green, I can go wait in the green room.
So entirely possible. I've just not heard the stage be called the Green.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like it's like the Masters is being played on it or something.
Right, exactly. Anyway.
Whatever. So it's the green room.
It's the green room. It's the green room. It's the room behind the stage. It's the stage. The stage, it's called the Green in many places, or at least was. And
I would like to hear one of those places. They go, oh, you mean the Green?
I gave you some examples
We're
today.
going to set this up on the stage. Oh, you mean the Green?
I don't think you were listening to me.
I was zoned out. I'm like, it's got to have.
I gave you a couple of examples that
Yeah, I
they
think there was
refer
like
to
10
it as
examples.
the Green.
Okay.
Anyway, that's it. That's all I got. That is the origins of the green room, sort of, kind of.
Ish will have to take it because it is what it is. And hey, you can only trust the internet so much.
That's how I've always said that.
Yeah. There's only so much. That's what we've learned. Marcus Aurelius said it. You can only trust the internet so much. Marcus Aurelius.
Okay, Aurelius.
Okay.
Well, Riddle Inc. It's a game, and we like to play it. It takes a 2-part trivia-based question and requires a 2-part, but here's the interesting part, overlapping answer.
Cray.
Could be overlapping by a syllable, a sound, words. So, for example, let me give you an example. If you remember last week, we did the idiom, good things come to those who wait.
Okay.
And I left you with, patience brings reward for this pounds spectating group. I'm going to read it again, because you looked at me just the same way last week. Good things come to those who wait. That's the idiom. I'm feeding you part of the answer here.
I understand that.
Patience brings reward for this pounds spectating group. Pounds spectating group.
Oh, hilarious. I was off in English pounds.
Oh.
Good things come to those who wait watchers.
There it is.
Sorry. I was caught up in like England somewhere. I'm like, I don't have it.
Good things come to those who wait, and Weight Watchers. Good things come to those that Weight Watchers.
Been there. There.
How you play the Riddle Inc. game.
Excuse me.
Play along with us as we do this today.
Well, I have a couple.
I got a couple courtesy of Beetlebat.
Fantastic. Looking forward to it. Let's go with these. The staging place for entertainers where you can order food to your hotel door.
Oh, say it again. I got it.
The staging place for entertainers where you can order food to your hotel door.
I'm going to go with Green Room Service,
Green Room Service. Nice and easy.
where all you can order is green eggs and ham from Green Rooms. Okay, I got one. Here we go.
Okay.
You should probably deal with that issue of dead body tissue in here before going on stage. You should probably deal with that issue of dead body tissue in here before going on stage.
I'm going to go with Gangrene Room. That's great. I was searching for
That's
one.
a
And yours,
Beetlebat special.
oh, his is so good. I was searching for
Gangrene?
that direction. I couldn't come up with anything that I liked.
Oh.
That's a good one. Okay. Kermit the Frog's song is a place before you go on stage.
Well-
Kermit the Frog's song is a place before you go on stage.
Let's leave it hanging because the
No.
Beetlebat one I was going to use is the same.
No.
Kermit sometimes sang this before going on stage.
I hate when that happens.
So,
Well, if you have an answer for that, reach out to us on Instagram at the dot. Sorry, the Ronas. That's crazy.
the Village Idiom.
Or email us, thevillageidiompodcast at gmail.com, or whether it's the Facebook, the YouTube, or the Twitters at 3 Minutes Gone.
Beautiful. And that's how you play Riddle Inc., and I hope you enjoyed it. That's too bad because, again, he sent me like 12, 13, 14, and I could have grabbed them. I should have. I feel bad that I didn't just.
That's the
have
one
them
I came
all
up with
sitting.
a pre heading into.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. Anyways.
It is what it is.
Well, it was fun putting today's episode together for you. Please, I hope you're enjoying some summer. I'm Skinny,
I'm Jurassic Mark.
and these are the Village Idioms.
I'm green. Will do fine.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
That's
And I
amazing.
think it's what
Have a good
wanna
week.
be.
Goodbye, everybody.
That's great.
That's 3 minutes gone.